Well, hello everyone. Just wanted to come on real quick, do just a little bit of a quick message for y'all. This is special content for the week, just because I felt like talking about Deuteronomy, the first few chapters of Deuteronomy. We're in Deuteronomy today, 7 through 9, and I wanted to talk about the idea that God goes before the people. And we see this theme of divine protection for the people of Israel throughout the books of Exodus through Deuteronomy. But we also see this downside, this kind of ugly side that we don't particularly like. And that is where we see kind of this genocidal strand within these passages today, where God's going to eliminate all of the enemies. One of the things that we have to recognize as we are reading this is the literary nuance. I've been already accused today in one format of not being intelligent enough to explain this kind of thing. So if I'm a little edgy on it, I'm sorry. But the reality is, we see that this is hyperbole. There is some hyperbole going on here, because when you look later, even though we see these ideas of genocide and don't leave anyone alive and God's just going to wipe them out, the reality of the situation is that motif changes from within Deuteronomy, within Leviticus and Numbers. There is this, sometimes it's wipe them all out and sometimes it's not. There's a tension there. And what the Bible is really trying to convey is not so much that Israel was just commanded to wipe every person off the face of the earth. The tension is meant for you to understand that what needed to change was the Canaanite culture. Deuteronomy even says it's not because of your righteousness that you get to inherit the earth. It's because of the sins of others. And what God is commanding is not just brutal genocide, but an elimination, a systemic elimination of the culture of sin, which is perpetuated by these other groups. And so what we come at, and we see this tension of eliminating groups of people, and the Israelites saw it too. We see this tension, but what we are supposed to look at is this contrast of eliminating sometimes and not eliminating in others, and just this whole deep, nuanced argument that what God really wants from the people is to eliminate the sin and destruction that is so rampant in other cultures. God is saying to the people, hey, you are going to be a special people, you're going to be a holy people, and you're going to push for their salvation. So I know for some people this isn't a great answer. It just sounds like a cop-out. And that's because, A, you don't want me to, even if I'm capable of giving the full answer, you don't want me to. You don't want me to spend that time. One of my friends and a former professor wrote several hundred pages on what I've tried to condense into a couple of minutes. The argument is far more complicated and far more nuanced than even I understand. I haven't read all of the material on this, but I've read enough to know that there is a lot of subtlety at play that just we don't always understand until we can read in Hebrew and read the way that ancient Israelites would have read it. I say that as a word of encouragement. Don't let these kind of very violent and overtly destructive passages get you down. Look at them the way that the Israelites would have looked at it, not as simply a condoning of violence and hatred, but as a call to push God's message further in a world that is brutally violent. And so, leave you with that today. Also, if you've watched this far, tune in tonight at 6:30 on Canal Louisville's Facebook page. You will see we're going to put out a nice little concert for Lent.